We will step back from everything we create and we'll ask ourselves, how do we feel? What are we missing? It's all the respect and love for food and seasonality and the ingredients. They are important. They are everything. How can we play in that?
Yes.
What's the people around us? What's exciting them? And don't follow trends. We're pretty much plain and simple about a lot of things. Yeah. But that's how we came up with doing Via Carota craft cocktails and bottling Negronis and being able to pour our quality drink anywhere in the world by putting it in a bottle and overseeing all the steps in creating it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Perfect Bite podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Perkins. There are restaurateurs, and then there are folks who are building such verifiable brands that they can only be described as empires. And it's even more impressive when that scale of work is still done with such care and love in every single project. I'm incredibly honored to speak with today's guests who are such wonderful partners in life and business together. When you look at everything they do, you can tell it isn't just for the money. It's to make an impact through their own unique and beautiful views on food and life. They're a great example for us all, and I can really tell there's more to come from them. Please welcome the co-owners of I Sodi, Via Carota, Buvette, and so much more, Rita Sodi and Jody Williams. Hello.
Hello. What a beautiful introduction.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind words and having us here.
Oh my goodness. It was incredibly easy to write and difficult to pare down. I'll tell you that, because over, just 2 decades of you both focusing on your own restaurant work, as well as the different areas that you're diving into within food and lifestyle here, you've done so much, not only apart, but together too.
That's true.
Yeah,
It's true. We know it's a lifetime, but it's gone by,
pretty fast.
quick. I feel like it's gone by so quickly, actually. We don't even think of it in terms of empire or anything like that. It's more of a community and just sort of like a life.
We love what we do. We love it, to create a place where we want to be. Yeah. So that's what we do.
I love it. It's a natural progression of everything you're thinking and feeling already. So why not make it? Well, I always love to take things back to the beginning here. I'd love to hear when you each first fell in love with food and what eating and cooking was really like in your households growing up.
Well, we're two completely different,
We're completely opposite on this. Completely different experiences growing up.
a Californian, a Tuscan. I mean, so you can imagine, share your beautiful story. I've been very lucky because my mother was I think the last generation that she was dedicated to the family, and the only things that she was doing, feed us and take care of us. So food has been always a big part of my life since I don't remember. And, and respect for the food, everything was sit on the table and eat. It was a ritual. You cannot miss it. You cannot do anything. You just eat and talk. That's it. And I grew up with this one. So food has been with me always.
Beautiful. Jody?
I hail from a proud fend for yourself household, single mom, 2 other sisters. I'm the middle child, and you sank or swam. All good stuff, but a lot of just sort of, I don't know, TV dinner kind of growing up. Not
Quickies.
Wouldn't go all the way to say culinary wasteland, because the fertile California Valley and the, markets and everything that surrounded by that. So, but just a different time. And I think that led me to want to cook, to have to cook, to, break out my little hibachi and do my London broil as a kid. But, not a lot of romantic highlights like Rita has, and just culinary and traditions. We have little traditions, but I can see how I was on a journey, on a quest, and driven to go to other cultures and live and work and learn languages and learn food and just study and fill my world up with that. And that's what I do.
What did you each both love eating as kids? Is there anything that is still the same as today? Or I imagine the palettes have expanded quite a bit since then, too.
I was pretty picky. I was like, for instance, I don't want to eat duck or rabbit or anything, but I ate all of them because my mother was telling me, oh, this is a chicken. And I was eating it. So it was picky just on mind, but actually I was not.
You were fooled, but I guess for good reason,
Yeah.
to try new things.
For you, so you just eat it. Yeah,
Yes.
actually. I think I have a sweet tooth. And I was like, oh, I mean, as a kid, early culinary thing, it would be, I would, love candy. I mean, we were like, but, as an adult and growing up, I'm really curious about just things I have never been exposed to. So whether it was going away to college and being in a small town and learning that, or whatever it is, whatever people were cooking, I would be really curious, or whatever was growing, I was always really curious and would, indulge. But I would say early food experiences, it would not be unheard of for my sisters and I probably to fight over a plate of fudge or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. I grew up going to Door County, Wisconsin in the summers, and the fudge up there is incredible. So it just reminds me of this time of year, too. And to this day, huge sweet tooth on my end. I have to really work on it. But, we got to have some vices in life.
I'm all for the vices.
Yes. So, I mean, you each had such interesting journeys when it came to entering the culinary world from a career standpoint. So, I'd love to hear from each of you. When did you each decide food was what you wanted to do for work? Especially Rita, you started off in fashion for so long and specifically denim. So, personally asking if you have a favorite pair of jeans that are good to wear while eating, I'd love to hear. And Jody, I'd love to hear too about your background, the folks that you were working with that really inspired you to say like, hey, it's time for my own thing. Let's go Buvette.
Good question. Great questions. Yeah. So I was based in Florence when I was working. I call them my other life.
Yes, the first life.
Completely. And anyway, I had, you decide to change the company and everything. So I had to move from Florence and going where? Rome, Milan, London, or whatever. And I said I decided to come in the United States and New York and open a restaurant. Yeah. Well, why open restaurant? Because I was coming and traveling a lot. And I was coming in New York and whatever, and like 2 times a month, or 3 times a month. And everybody was taking me in Italian place and everything. And I'm like, no, I want my food here. I have to tell people what Italian food is also something different. So I decided to change it and open a restaurant in Christopher Street.
Beautiful. And again, second life, you're coming off of fashion. What do you think that also inspired you from your first career in fashion that you still feel today and that you see show up in your work?
Passion. And don't be afraid to work.
Put the head down, get it done, make it beautiful.
I want to know your favorite jeans. Oh, Biggie. It's a vintage Vice. Then it was, and it's called Biggie because the Levi's, the E of the Levi's is a capital on the tag. Yeah. Yeah. And the selvage and everything. It's not easy to find, but I have a few of them. So that's my.
I'll look into this. Yes. Thank you. Now, Jody, I'd love to hear too, like a little bit of your journey, a Californian who comes to New York. You decide to go across the country here. What really led you here and got you excited about what then became an international chain of French bistros?
Well, so let's see. Well, I wanted to learn how to cook, but I didn't want to really spend time in school. I thought I would best learn how to cook by knocking on a few doors and saying, and I knocked on a door of a hotel in San Francisco. I said, what does, I showed the newspaper article, the job ad, excuse me. And I said, what does this person do? What is this job? And they said, oh, they put food on plates. I think it was the doorman. I said, put food on plates. And I said, okay. Yeah. So I went in and I applied for the job, and I was a steward. I was a steward in the hotel, and I sort of said, okay, wow, this is what goes on. But I was curious. So I said, okay, I understand. I will move to New York and I will learn to work in restaurants. When I got to New York, I started knocking on doors again and just chasing down some jobs. I mean, even the first job that they said, okay, go get change. You're hired. Go get change. And I said, in what? Because I didn't even really think it through that I would need to be wearing whites and everything. So I said, okay. So I just jumped in and studied the person next to me or the environment and learned to cook. And in good kitchens, good cooks teach you just as much as good chefs. And I would say, okay, I want to learn the next best thing, or I learned this or that. So I would move into opportunities so I could learn the whole range of what I thought you needed or I needed or what I was interested in, from whether it was like in pastry or entremetier or this or that, and just take opportunities and really no plan, just casually living life and having a blast and going through these things and meeting other people interested in this and seeing a lot of inspiring places and people in food and everything around me. And then I realized if I wanted to learn Italian food, I would have to go to Italy. So I figured a way that I would go to Italy and knock on doors and get some jobs. And I mean, literally, Rita and I were both sort of like back of the napkin, no plan, take it on as it comes.
Right.
And we were very organized about things indeed, but just being open to where these opportunities take us and being thoughtful about it. And that was my cooking career. And I spent 3 years in Reggio Emilia, and I spent another almost 3 years in Rome, where I understood seasons, I understood cooking, I understood the language, and I fell in love. I was sold. I was in Italy. I had worked in some classic French kitchens. I worked in big kitchens where you do big volume, and the physicality and the energy and the organization to figure it out. And, Diana Vierlin says, as a quote, like, the eye must travel. And that's for both of us in your life and my life, traveling around and just absorbing and then putting it all together in creating places where, selfishly, we want to hang out, we want to eat. And that's what we did. I wasn't always a successful cook in people's kitchens. I was like probably okay, but I knew I would be doing my own thing and I knew I would figure out a way to do it. And life's challenges and our modest means to start doing what we wanted to do, I mean, individually, that before we even met each other, led to unique places like Buvette, this little gastrotech on Grove Street, where I figured out how I could get behind a bar, take big ideas, whether it's a braised oxtail on a toast with a glass of red wine, and start to sustain myself, creatively, right? And I could, create a trade. So Buvette was this all day kind of wine bar, cafe, bistro, all just eating and drinking. And I was unfettered. And the experience that I wanted for the guests was unfettered. And Rita, we started this late, like, what were we, 40s? I was 45 when I moved, 45, right? And deciding that, finally, after 10 years of cooking in other people's kitchens and traveling and beautiful relationships, to dare to do it ourselves. So
I think that's what's most special too, and what makes you such incredible entrepreneurs as well, is as you hear your background stories, you see the through lines of the universe getting ready to bring you two together, both coming from thousands of miles away to meet up finally, both falling in love in the same types of food, but also that sense of, I don't think it's selfish to say like, hey, we wanted to create the places we wanted to go to. I think it takes bravery to say, no one else has done this. Why don't I just do it? Why don't I just make the place, instead of waiting around for someone to do it and saying, life's good. I've got a nice job, maybe some benefits, a little bit of stability, but it takes a lot to dive in and do something yourself. So I'm very glad that you both started that journey. And I love that you also weren't this, hey, I got to be, these days it's this focus of, oh, Forbes 30 under 30. And I felt that pressure too when I attempted a tech startup once. And it's just unrealistic to think that people whose frontal lobes are barely formed are going to make the businesses that are lasting and make all the right decisions without the experience to go behind it. So it sounds like the universe lined everything up at the same time for you.
Yeah, I agree on that. We're going to be here tomorrow, like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., whether you're on a list, off a list, or this many likes or this many stars. When you love what you do, when you're compelled to do it, you got to figure out this idea. You want to see it happen, and then you want to nurture it and take care of it along the way. You're compelled through all the challenges to stick with it and keep it. We work really hard, like you said. And so I don't want to say, oh, we're lucky. Yeah. We're lucky to get to do this. It's like, we'll do whatever we can to get to do this. It's more the truth.
Yes, it's that grateful to have the opportunity and that privilege of like, wow, we get to do our own thing. But it takes so much work, and there's always the trade-offs there. Now, I know you all have shared your meet cute a number of times. I think it's wonderful. And I think it also speaks to your food, Rita, that I want to hear has been happening at I Sodi. It all came down to asparagus. So I'd love to hear how you were crafting that menu to be, as you said, the Italian food that you know and love, and not, again, as a longtime Chicagoan, I know a red sauce joint, but they are a dime a dozen across the country. So I want to hear too, like how yours feels so different and special.
As I say, I was lucky to have food in my life since I was little and everything. So summertime, we have a garden, and everything we ate was coming from the garden. And my mother was like, okay, this is what I found today. Sometimes it was fries, sometimes it was just, cook or, fresh salad and everything. And we had rules, a lot of rules, like, you had to eat but this, and also, we didn't have too much other choice. Now you can find, I don't know, a tomato in Christmas time or whatever.
Right.
But at that time, no. So that's what I learned, what I love, and what I transfer here in New York. It's all the respect and love for food and seasonality, and give it to ingredients. They are important as they are everything. If you don't start from there, you don't have a good food or anything else. Yeah. And, and just let the ingredient talk.
Yes.
So don't put too much on top of it. No, and we have, I saw that we have olive oil, salt, pepper, a little bit of red pepper. And I think that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. And it all, like you said, it comes down to choosing the right ingredients and finding them during the times of year that they really shine. And agreed, it's hard to go to the grocery store and try to find the produce that you love and are like, is this going to be watery or not, especially in the US? So I love that you have such respect for it as well. And that's been very clear throughout your concepts ever since. So I'd love to hear a little bit more. Of course, you met, it was over some gorgeous produce, and you recognized in each other not only, well, hey, I like you, but also the decision to go into business together. What did you see in the other that you felt that they really highlighted what you needed in terms of a partner, and how you're able to then be each other's puzzle pieces to be able to push things forward together?
Well, you don't think it through like that. We met, we were attracted together, we were friends, we were going to do life together, and we're going to do life together, and we're going to do it really well. And it's not always going to be perfect, and it's going to be up, it's going to be down, it's going to be risky, and it's going to be this, but we're going to do it together. Now, it happens to be over these restaurants, and we love to be challenged. We love to sort of like, what if, figure it out, create things together. So the partnership, was there characteristics that like, yes or no? We were going to do life together through and through for sure, no matter what. That's my take.
No, yeah, it's true.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and we were like, Jody was working at Buvette, I was working at Sodi, so we didn't really have too much time together, right? And so
we were in our kitchens like all morning, all day, take out the trash, get your orders in by the cutoff times. Like, oh my God, like all of it. We were in it deep, and, it was a joke. Like, if we want to see each other, we should open a place together.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a very like, we are co-founders for life. We are an entrepreneurial household. So let's make it happen. My partner is on the tech VC side of things too. So there are times when we're like, okay, or can we do a business trip together? Like, what can we figure out where we can do this? And it's really nice when you have that person too that completely understands what you're going through because they feel the same mission and passion.
Absolutely. It's that supportive. I mean, like, it's really a positive experience to be in business and to be creating and founding with your partner. And we want to take work home with us. You know what I mean? We don't marginalize life work or this work.
Right.
We moved up to Hudson Valley and we said, well, now what are we going to do up here? Let's figure out something. We're both sort of like cut from the same cloth, but miles away and from each other and totally different, but there's so many similarities that make this all possible.
Yes. And it sounds like too, like you are not the folks who are like, I need to turn off from work. I need to stop thinking about this. It's really what fuels your excitement and the fun that you have together too, which is what it should be at the end of the day. If you don't love what you're doing and you started it yourself, then you need to reconsider what's going on here. That's for sure.
Yes, but there's the added bonus. We're, eating and drinking is a great place to land in life. I mean, there is a lot of work and a lot of joy, and bringing people together at a table, that's a very potent human experience, and it's overwhelmingly positive and very challenging too. No, absolutely. But it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
definitely. So just over a decade now, you've opened together, of course, via Carota, which everyone can find your gorgeous green salad, the green monster that everyone raves over. You've got the Commerce Inn now, and Bar Pisellino, I should say as well. But you've also got, Officina 1397, you've got Officina del Bere, and you now have your own bottled cocktail line for Via Carota, which is so exciting. I want to hear a little more like you're just sitting, and of course, I haven't even the Via Carota cookbook. You guys like just a couple things on your plate, basically. And I want to hear what felt natural in those next steps of you could have just stuck with, hey, we're going to open restaurant after restaurant after restaurant and stick in that lane. Why did you want to expand your universe and add in these CPG and storefront elements too?
Our universe, our heart and soul are restaurants. And we know that. And that's everything, that those restaurants. And what would make those restaurants and what would make that a better experience for both staff and guests? What could we do? And we like being self-taught. We like learning things. We like, challenges. What could we add to that? Okay, a cookbook. Yeah, that's fun and a lot of work. And now we can put that into the universe. It complements that. What else could we do that would complement and, create better our journey in life? So, Via Carota craft cocktails. I mean, you just took a red eye in from LA this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Rita was out there making cocktails. When we opened Bar Pisellino, we just got the bug on like mixology, that, spremuta, the whole experience, the Italian bar experience from Milan and Florence that we knew and we loved and was integral to your day, multiple times your day. And we didn't have that in New York. And when we in 2019 started Bar Pisellino, it was an old falafel shop, and we started making it into Bar Pisellino. Like, no, we won't have any bar stools. I mean, people are like, no, 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 right? And we're like, we got this, trust us. And we went that route. And here it is today. Out of that is that we taught ourselves more mixology. We traveled around the world and we got behind bars. We got into, cocktail lists, and we took the classic, the icons, the rules, the respect that we have that you spoke about, Rita, for cooking and, bartending. Yeah. We were the first to have a panelist in the menu. In New York, like 15 years ago. 15 years ago. 18 years ago, I Sodi, those 8 tables. Rita opened I Sodi with 8 tables, and that menu, 18 years ago, hasn't really changed. You've gotten to be a better chef, and you've added some more creative things, but basically that is the same. And you resisted all the advice. And we weren't successful in the beginning. We were successful because we were open and we were doing our thing, and we were busy, but we had open tables. It's different. And you just stick with it, and you stick with it. And that was fine then. And this is fine now. It's strange. But it's, a lot of the heart and soul is the restaurants, but we knew making the cocktails, the Via Carota craft cocktails, and having that experience of Bar Pisellino, and then putting, we just did a sparkling Cosmo. So we have the sparkling line, still line, and making something with the same attention to quality and being uncompromising. And we're really proud of it. We forget to talk about it all the time. We're like, we're not really great business people in a way. But we should talk about those.
Celebrate it. Yes.
It's like, we did that. And I love our bottle shop, our wine shop. There's a couch in there.
Yes.
And because when we step back, we will step back from everything we create, and we'll ask ourselves, how do we feel? Whether it is that, a green salad, how do we feel? How do we feel when we step back off the curb into the street and say, how do we feel? I want flowers. I want produce over here. What are we missing? Our old Balducci's, our old Dina de Luca vibes, all these things. How can we play in that?
Yes.
What's the people around us? What's exciting them? And don't follow trends. We're pretty much plain and simple about a lot of things. But that's how we came up with doing Via Carota craft cocktails and bottling Negronis and being able to pour our quality drink anywhere in the world by putting it in a bottle and overseeing all the steps and creating it. It's been fun. And you meet more people and you'll learn more about business. Yeah. And it's like, I love that.
Open your eyes.
As long as we keep learning, and, I guess open to failure as well, as long as it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Our Pisellino we have our coffee coming out. And the restaurant, and we went just outside of Florence to where our coffee beans are wood roasted in a it hasn't changed since the 1940s. Wood roasted, fire roasted coffee beans, and we're excited. We'll have that in the fall, I think.
In September.
So
incredible.
What complements the restaurants? What are we doing? What are we interested in? What do we use? What do we need?
So is the coffee going to be available to ship nationwide too?
I guess so. I don't know.
You heard it here first.
We use so much coffee, we buy it all. But the plan is, I guess we don't have, I need to make a plan to get it to people who want it, but we'll figure that out. But
I love how I could imagine too. Would you ever do like a little chain of, say, Italian bakeries? Something that's very focused to go with your coffee, a little sweet treat.
Well, I wouldn't use the word change, but Bar Pisellino, we took a little more space for Bar Pisellino because Bar Pisellino never had a kitchen, right? So we have to go down a ship's ladder into the cocktail lab where things are happening and then back up. And we waited patiently. And we've got a little more space there so we can add to it. And we're in the process of adding to it a patisseria and forno. So now we're in there and we're baking, we do our bombolonis, we're doing, biscotti, and we are adding to that experience with the coffee and the cocktails and some savory and sweet kind of things. And in the middle of those two Pisellino's, those two doors, is Officina del Bere, our bottle shop. And so the story, when you step back and we look at it and we say, how do we feel? We understand, like, this is the art of drinking. This is the Italian art of coffee culture, of cocktail culture, of aperitif, sidewalk cafe energy and culture. And we get it, and it starts to make sense. And we can lean into that and say, what are we missing here? It's sort of magic.
Yeah.
We came about I use the word lightly, brand, or we came about this identity sort of backwards, just by starting like I just want to learn how to make tarte tartane, and I want to speak better French. So I'm going to play with French food. And you came out and you did this.
I want to do my food.
And I want to do my food. I want this. And like, wow, without figuring everything out. We don't figure everything out, but we will figure it out as we go along.
Exactly. You will continue to throw the spaghetti at the wall. You will build the plane while it's flying, as they say. And you do it with such grace and passion. Like, I enjoyed listening to just all of your ideas right now, because I saw your faces light up about, oh, hey, we're going to try this next. And it reminds me of, I would say, Nancy Silverton's spirit too. I always love seeing that she's someone who's excited to jump into something. And it was great seeing her a couple weeks ago at the JVA's getting her Lifetime Achievement Award. So I think you two could certainly be on that list one day too. And we'll make that happen.
That would be a huge honor, and like Nancy Silverton, the secret is she's the real deal. If you could put her in a room with ingredients, eggs, flour, dairy, and she will make you the best gelato, the best breads. She will do it with creativity. She knows, she really does it,
So do you. So do you. And you can feel it and taste it and see it. And I'm sad that we have such short time here together today. So I'll make sure we get our last few questions here before you all have to head out. I have to ask, Officina 1397, you named it after an important year of the Renaissance. And I'd love to hear why that's so significant to you and what you want your own sense of Renaissance and legacy to be.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's so good. You did such great research, and your pronunciation is so, you're wonderful.
Oh, thank you. And I'm sad we're not together and having more time.
That would be lovely. Officina 1397. 1397 is just a point where the Renaissance began, I think, with Dici's, I'm sure, and where banking and commerce started. And 100 years later, you have Raffaello. I mean, you have all this beautiful art and things taking place that point in time enabled, and that embrace of history and inspiration from the classics and everything. So it's just a reminder. Yeah, a reminder. It's a starting point. It's like I always say, and that we're still part of that moment in history that is just whatever. Do the math. How many years later, it's, that it sort of has that momentousness to it.
Yes. 650 years later. I think it's nice to think, if you have a dream, if there's something you're interested in doing, we can each have our own years that we look back on as our own 1397s. Again, coming from Chicago, I know 1871 is the year of the Great Chicago Fire. And it was a tragedy, but the city rebuilt itself so much stronger. And you really see, I think, just like how strong people from the Midwest and that area come out of it, because it's like, hey, we got grit, and you can really see that anywhere too. So I think it's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that too. Now, I have to ask, what do you think you are most proud of so far? And outside of the coffee, which was a really nice teaser here, what do you think is coming up in the journey? What would you like to see more from your own growth?
What are we most proud of? I'm proud to be here, and after 18 years, to be with Jody and have everything we have and build everything that we love.
And we will continue. One day we will see something that we love and we will do it. It's not, we don't plan. Basic came available and we saw something and we start something, but we're always dreaming. And I think I would say I'm most proud of my relationship with you and how this has enabled this wonderful story with like no limitations, and we can think it, we can try it, and I mean, it doesn't mean we'll be successful. Doesn't mean we'll get it done, but we'll entertain the idea and say, well, let's go for it. And that has made a very rich existence here. We're proud of the places that we've made, and we want to become iconic and important to the community and to the people that have passed through them. And that is what feels like success to us. When what we've done has enabled somebody, taken care of somebody, or made somebody really happy, or become some part of somebody's life. You were talking to somebody yesterday who was like a young, it's the second generation now. Get all the customer. And we see a engaged man that used to be the boy was coming with the mother, eating at the bar. And, and all that. Yesterday I was in Orange County and this guy was like, hey, you remember me? I was, because we moved from, and the boy, of course I remember you and everything. And so it's great. It's be part of the community, getting old with your customer.
Yes. Beautiful. I mean, again, they've become your family too, and you've been now part of their important parts of their lives. And, you have some certain star customers too these days who have become favorites. Maybe someone who's doing something special at Madison Square Garden this weekend, who knows? And it must feel incredible to be like, wow, what growth and what moments that you've been able to connect with folks over such wonderful food and drink.
Yeah, for real. It's everybody. I don't know. Well, everybody doesn't mean anything, but we're always impressed by such wonderful people coming through our places, and so touched and lucky that people know of what we're doing. And I'm not speaking of anybody in particular or anything, but just we're history. It's wow. From all over, people that come through here to grocery, to Sodi, Buvette, Officina or the Carota. It's pretty cool.
It is.
Cool. And we're grateful for it.
Yes. Well, Jody, Rita, it's bittersweet to get to this part, but a little reminder for folks, this is called The Perfect Bite because it's not just a perfect bite of our friends across the food and beverage industry, but because we each have our own perfect bites. Something that you've eaten in your life that every time you think of it, it makes you smile. So Jody, Rita, what would you say are your perfect bites?
Wow, you got to have this on the tip of your tongue, Rita. Perfect bite. Huh? Okay, perfect bite. Why you think I'll go? Pollo frito? Oh, pollo frito? Yeah. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, pollo frito. Yeah, summertime, pollo frito with tomato.
Oh.
Yeah. Mine would be butter, Parmesan, tagliatelle and butter and Parmesan. Just like that. And if there's white truffle, add that white truffle. And if there's no truffle, just give me the tagliatelle, butter, and Parmesan. Something so satisfying, so simple, and connected to a lot of memories. That would be my perfect bite. Okay.
I love it.
With you. You can share? Yeah, I can share. When you make that fried chicken, I love that. I'm like, why are you buying so much chicken? Because I want it the next day,
Yes. Stunning. I love how both are also very reflective of your philosophies and all the work you're doing. So thank you both again so much for your time. I'm going to include the show notes, again, social media accounts, the locations, websites, anywhere folks can find you, and also order some great Via Carota cocktails here across the country. So I just want to say again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. You're listening to Jody Williams and Rita Sodi's Perfect Bite.
Thanks for tuning in to The Perfect Bite today. You can listen to future episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Thanks in advance for subscribing, rating, and reviewing. You can follow The Perfect Bite on social media at Perfect Bite Pod. Now go get something good to eat.